Hi, and welcome to BB Kids. In today's session, we are going to be looking at what you may need to make a mini plant pot starter. So not everybody is lucky enough to have an actual paper plant pot maker in their home, and therefore we thought it'd be really useful to come up with another way to do an activity with your children in the family to make some beautiful little holders that they can watch their seeds start to sprout in. You're going to need to have as many loo-roll inners as you would like to make plant pots, and should those not be available to you, you will need to have a glass jar and some newspaper. You're going to need to have some scissors, a pencil, some lollipop sticks, these are ones that I saved to be recycled, a method of fastening, be that glue, or you could also use some wire as I've got here, or you could use a needle and thread, some seeds, I've got pea seeds here, compost, and also the buttons. So to start making our basic pot, we are going to need to get ourselves our loo-roll inner tube. There we go, fantastic. If you're using kitchen roll, cut it down so it's roughly the same size as a loo-roll inner, just to give you an idea because that's the scale I'm working to. You're going to take your pencil, and if you need a ruler, you can use that too. Mark out roughly about 1.5 centimeters, so you know how far that you are cutting in. And you are going to draw on a line, you can see that there, on the base of your loo-roll inner there. And you are going to use your scissors then to cut in, and you're going to cut one on the opposite side, looking at roughly the same sort of distance. And again, if you squeeze your pot, you can then find roughly halfway again, and the same on the other side, to get your 4 pieces with a little snip there, if you can see that. Ooh, 3, and my 4th one doesn't want to bend. There we go. Here we go. So now the next step's fairly simple, but you have to have some good fingers to hold in place. Whichever piece you push down now, one end is going to go inside and the other one is going to be on the outside. So they're all going to fold into each other. So if I remember that this side is going to be on the outside, this on the inner, pushing itself in. This one is now going to be on the outside, and this one is going to push in. The one next to it is going to be on the outside, and its other end is going to push in, out. Ooh, I'm losing them. Out and in. And then by doing so, once you've got them all in, they just kind of push together fantastically. They actually seal in a square. And if you push against your edges, that's it, like that. I'm pinching them to make a kind of a square form on the bottom. We will see that they have put together and create a nice flat base for our pot to stand on. In this form, they can of course be filled with compost, seed in, and straight into the soil or on the windowsill. That's fine. If you'd like to decorate them a little bit more, and you're doing this with children, you may want to consider something like the flower that I did previously. And to do that, again, it's really simple. You're just going to decide how long you're going to make each of your petals, as it were, and you're going to snip into your, there we go, into your inner tube around the edges there, just making them all the same sorts of length. And again, it doesn't have to be perfect, you don't have to measure. It's very much a rough guide, just to know what you're doing. There we go. So you've got lots of them now loose round, and if you just bend them all out, it gives you a very basic petal, like so, flower shape. You can, if you want to, take your pencil again and use your pencil to roll those cardboard petals around, okay, and remove. It just creates a little bit of a curvature, as you can see there, and you can do that on each of the lengths. I wouldn't recommend painting these because they are in their current state naturally biodegradable. So once these do go into the great outdoors soil, if you put them into larger pots, paints would potentially put toxic material into the soil and you wouldn't want that to happen. So at this point, you could consider your flower ready to have some soil put inside. With the compost now inside your inner tube pot, you can just put a little finger in, take your seed, push it in and cover over gently. Now, you will obviously be watering these really well over the days to come and to make sure that that soil is kept nice and damp. So, next comes to our little pot sign. So, I have taken a lollipop stick, this is quite literally a used lollipop stick, and a little bit of crafting wire. Just take care when cutting. Ensure that if you don't have wire cutters and are using scissors, that the wire is thin enough for you to do that with. You can buy these beautiful little wooden buttons, as it were, for use, and they'll just be from different places online. And if you pull that through, you are literally just going to take your lollipop stick, attach at the back, cross over and twist. And there you have a lovely little marker for putting in your pot, or and there we have it. We have some very lovely markers for our flower pots. You can, of course, raid your crafting area and you can use some PVA glue just to create the stickiness and stick on a, there we go, a button. I also have a little pom-pom here, crafting pom-pom, and you can use that, just stick that on. I've got glue on my fingers. And just stick those down. Now, obviously, if you're using PVA glue in order to hold things, just be aware they're going to have to be placed somewhere to dry for some time before they can be used. For those of you who don't have any loo roll inners or kitchen rolls available to you, here we have a piece of paper, okay, newspaper this one was. You're going to lay that down. You are then going to find a jar or a glass that is relatively narrow. What you do is you place the end that is open towards the bottom of your, what's going to become your pot. You're going to roll that around, so you can see that on the table, it's just being rolled up. And depending on obviously how tall you make it, you would be able to do exactly the same activity with this. And then we have it, a range of easy to make, biodegradable plant pot holders, and you can get your beautiful sunflowers started, or like us, some peas, and watch them grow on the windowsill. And we look forward to seeing what you create. and I hope you enjoyed making your biodegradable, homemade, beautiful little planter pots, and post them in the comments below somewhere. We'd love to see what you make. Perhaps your little flower sticks are going to be somehow something different, and be nice to share that with everybody else. If you've got some tips, we'd love to know them. Take care from Weeby Kids. Bye!